Hello, critical thinkers. Hope all is well. I'm going to go over with you an article from the freelance, and let me pull that up now so we get this ball moving. Okay, here we go. This is from the freelance, written by J.B. Nicholas. Attorney General Letitia James declines to defend dozens of prison guard workers in 7 abuse lawsuits. Four of the guards who killed Robert Brooks at Marcy Correctional Facility are named in four of the suits. Suits suggest state knew guards at Marcy were out of control, could have prevented Brooks' killing. So we know this for a fact that the office of the New York State Attorney General knew about these abuses. They've been defending these correctional officers in civil cases for several years. Let's proceed. In the weeks after Robert Brooks was killed by guards at Marcy Correctional Facility, State Attorney General Letitia James refused to represent or continue representing at least 46 state correction officers and medical personnel in 7 lawsuits against them by prisoners alleging abuse. Now, let's just take a step back real quick and take a look at let's take a look at the number. So she's refusing to represent or continue representing. It's 46 state correction officers and medical personnel in 7 lawsuits. That's truly a big number. Let's continue on with the article. Parts of this story had been previously reported, but the complete puzzle has not. It is assembled and reported here for the first time. Leonard Robinson is the plaintiff in one of the 7 lawsuits. To hear him tell it, he should be dead. His lawsuit alleges he was pepper sprayed, beaten, and thrown down 4 flights of stairs, all while he was handcuffed by guards at the Elmira Correctional Facility in 2023. So this is somewhat recent. It's not that long ago. We're going to kill you, they yelled, according to Robinson's lawsuit, filed in state Supreme Court in Albany in 2024. Robinson, now 29, suffered a broken face, broken teeth, broken rib, and bruises all over his body. His lawsuit alleges some of his teeth were pushed completely through his lip, through his top lip. Wow. An investigation by state prison officials determined Robinson was telling the truth. Again, I'm going to read this line over. An investigation by state prison officials determined Robinson was telling the truth. They brought employee disciplinary charges against some of the guards, but the guards were acquitted after an administrative trial before private arbitrators, court records show. While state law imposes the responsibility for maintaining officer discipline on state officials, New York's contract with the Guards Union, which is NYSCOBA, allows arbitration by private judges instead of public officials. 9 out of 10 cases of alleged misconduct are not prosecuted, and of those few that are, the private arbitrators dismiss 9 out of 10. So let's just take a look again at this number. 9 out of 10 cases in which there is misconduct, in which there is prosecution on that employee disciplinary level, they're dismissed. That's 90%. That is astronomically high. Robinson's lawyer, Mark A. Overall of United Legal Fighters, called the disciplinary system for guards questionable at best and laughable at worst. Um, Correctional officer, this is the only job where you can, quote unquote, beat your clients, murder your clients, and still have a job. It's crazy. Let's move on and continue. The guards who beat Robinson got their jobs back because their union was able to secure an arbitrator who took the officer's word at face value. Overall said, the arbitrator disregarded all of this and reinstated the officers based on their unsupported assertions that we didn't touch him. So this is something that is very common amongst correctional officers, is that you will hear comments such as, you will take the word over a quote unquote convict or over someone who's incarcerated, meaning that their word doesn't mean anything. Even in cases where there is medical evidence where someone has been severely beaten, the arbitrators find in favor of the correctional officers. You really can't make this up. This comes straight out of a dystopian novel. Let's continue on. James, the Attorney General, said in a letter to State Comptroller Thomas Neapoli, it would not be appropriate for her office to represent 10 of the guards sued by Robinson. Uh, DiNapoli agreed to pay for them to have private lawyers, as he did in all 7 cases. Now, don't think for a minute that what's happening with the New York State Attorney General's office is altruistic, meaning that she doesn't want to do this because it's wrong to do. She's looking to distance herself from these correctional officers and from these cases because it is not good media. It is not good publicity that her face in her office is connected to these brutal correctional officers. So don't think for any second it's altruistic. Think it's more public relations than anything. Let's continue on. State Supreme Court Justice Daniel C. Lynch denied a defense motion to dismiss the lawsuit on March 25th, 2025. Overall, Robinson's lawyer told the freelance Robinson's beating wasn't an isolated incident. Inmates are assaulted daily. And that is truly the case. Inmates or incarcerated individuals are being assaulted on a daily basis, and they have no reprise. They really don't have a voice. And it was a couple of days ago, actually on Sunday, I had a formerly incarcerated individual who actually has made it his life mission to help those who are currently incarcerated. His name is Sean, and he gave his account of how challenging it is to get justice, to file disciplinary actions against officers, how you have to have documents notarized and you have to go through this process, and it's virtually impossible to complete while you are in the shoe. Let's continue on. And here's a picture of some of these officers, correctional officers, in the Robert Brooks murder. Some of the prison guards charged with murder and manslaughter for killing Robert Brooks, handcuffed in court during their arraignments. Photo credit J.B. Nicholas. Let's continue on. The public release of body-worn camera video capturing guards torturing and allegedly murdering Brooks at Marcy on December 9th, 2024, showed what Overall and many others have long alleged, that guards regularly beat prisoners for no real reason, or if they do not have a real reason, more than necessary and with no real consequences. This is one thing this channel has been speaking about for a long time, how correctional officers have no consequences when it comes to brutalizing those incarcerated. Let's continue on. Brooks' murder also put a spotlight on James and the state attorney general's role in covering up sadistic beatings of prisoners by guards. While James has been celebrated in the liberal press for successfully suing President Donald J. Trump, she allowed the beat up squad of guards that killed Brooks to become a death squad. Again, the office of the state attorney general's office, Governor Kathy Hochul's office, for a long time have known about the beatings, they've known about the murders, and yet they've done nothing. Therefore, they are complicit as well. Let's move on. The Attorney General's historic and primary role is defending state employees from lawsuits as required by state law. 13 months before Brooks was killed, while her office was defending against a lawsuit by former Marcy prisoner William Alvarez, Alvarez warned in sworn testimony that the same beat up squad that will go on to kill Brooks savagely beat, choked, and threatened to kill him while he was handcuffed in 2020. They tried to kill me, Alvarez testified in 2023, the freelance reported. They said, quote, they were going to kill me and there was nothing anybody can do about it. This is a common statement heard from correctional officers. Instead of dismantling the beat up squad, James tried but failed to have Alvarez's lawsuit dismissed. Again, instead of dismantling the beat up squad, James tried but failed to have Alvarez's lawsuit dismissed. The freelance correctly predicted James would have to recuse herself from prosecuting Brooks' killers. 7 days after that, James recused herself, and Onondaga County District William Fitzpatrick was appointed special prosecutor in her place. Fitzpatrick secured an indictment charging 10 guards with murder, manslaughter, and associated charges. By the way, real quick, I see we have a bunch of people in the chat. Welcome. Thank you for being here. If you can do me a quick favor, if you can like the video, if you can comment, that would be great. If you can in the chat write down the city and state that you're calling from, sorry, that you're watching from, or the country that you're viewing from, that would be greatly appreciated. I appreciate that immensely. Thank you for everyone in the chat. Let's continue on with the article. The same day, James recused herself from investigating Brooks' killing. Her office also sent a letter to the comptroller recusing herself from defending 5 of the guards sued by Alvarez, including CO Anthony Farina, Sergeant Glenn Tromley, respectively charged and believed to be charged in connection with Brooks' killing. In addition, the Attorney General recused herself from defending the 2 guards and 2 sergeants Adam Bauer alleged beat him for smoking a cigarette in a bathroom at Marcy in 2020. So I've done a previous video on Adam Bauer. I've showed a video of his attorney. So for those of you, I will attempt to put that link in the chat before we end. That the federal judge overseeing Bauer's lawsuit, Glenn T. Suitably, did not immediately allow James to withdraw from the case. He ordered her to explain why he should let her withdraw at a hearing on March 7th. Quote, OAG cannot ethically continue representing the defendants in this case, James' office argued in legal filings. Instead of deciding the motion, Judge Sudaby ordered James' office to try negotiating a settlement with Bauer and report back to the court on May 6. The March 1 killing of another state prisoner, Messiah Nantry, 22, by guards at Mid-State Correctional Facility, caused the same legal headaches for James' office killing did, because it represents some of the guards implicated in Nantry's death in pre-existing abuse lawsuits as well. So for those of you not familiar with the Messiah Nantry case, he is a young man who was allegedly beaten and murdered by a beat-up squad commonly known as the CERT. And his case actually now is being investigated by yet again William Fitzpatrick, the Onondaga County District Attorney. James recused herself from investigating it, and again handed it off to Fitzpatrick. So his investigation remains ongoing. So just going back to the Messiah Nantry investigation, according to Fitzpatrick office, there will be a grand jury convening sometime in early April Also, in addition, there was a document filed with the court, someone from William Fitzpatrick office, who stated that there is body cam video. So we have not seen that yet. It has not been released. Also, the New York Times reported there were 9 incarcerated individuals who gave testimony to the New York Times, and 8 of them gave their names. And what some of them said was that the CERT officers were not wearing any body cameras, but there was one individual who was, and his back was turned away from the action, and most likely didn't capture his beating. But we will see. We will see. Okay. The 4 remaining lawsuits James' office recused herself from defending include one filed by Roger Domrose. My apologies if I'm saying the name wrong. His lawsuit alleges he was beaten and left in solitary confinement with 4 broken ribs and a collapsed lung for 18 days at Elmira in 2020. James recused herself from defending a sergeant, a nurse, and a doctor because we all know they all conspired together to cover up these beatings and these torture. Nurse Carolyn Hakes examined Dumrose after the assault, but told him he quote unquote looked perfectly fine except for some superficial abrasions. Demro's lawsuit alleges. 8 days later, Dr. Kevin Ott diagnosed Dumrose with only 2 broken ribs, missing 2 more broken ribs and the collapsed lung. Dr. Ott sent Dumrose back to solitary with ibuprofen, according to the suit. It would be inappropriate for the state attorney general to represent Hakes, Ott, and another defendant, Sergeant Chad Betchler. James' office said in a letter to the state comptroller, Thomas DiNapoli, dated February 11th, 2025. James also found it, quote, would be inappropriate to represent Fishkill Correctional Facility guard Giordano Rivera Padilla. In a handwritten complaint, Joshua Hobbs alleged Rivera/Padilla repeatedly assaulted him for no good reason. He also alleged there was evidence, video footage, that proves I was assaulted and battered by officers. The Attorney General's refusal to represent Rivera Padilla suggests she agreed. And again, this is the office of the New York State Attorney General looking to distance themselves from the brutality of these correctional officers. 2 more handwritten lawsuits by 2 prisoners in the residential mental health unit at Marcy, the same prison where Brooks was killed, alleged they were unjustifiably beaten by guards in 2021 and 2022, among other things. The 2 suits by David Gibson and Keno Ramsey name Robert Kessler as a defendant. Kessler is also one of the guards who killed Brooks, video shows. Kessler is believed to be cooperating with prosecutors. The charges against him, if any, are currently secret. So again, just to reinforce that, so there were 2 suits brought about by one by David Gibson, the other Keno Ramsey, and they named Robert Kessler as a defendant. We know he's one of the guards involved in the Robert Brooks murder. And currently, this article is alleging that Kessler is believed to be cooperating with prosecutors and that the charges are currently secret. Okay, let's continue on. The 2 suits, oh, I'm sorry. In addition to detailing the abuse he says he suffered, Ramsey's lawsuit adds he observed female Marcy employees who appeared to be victims of domestic violence. Female employees come to work with black and blue face and eye. So this is an interesting thing that the article is noting, is that, you know, he's saying that he's also seen uh, female staff, Marcy employees, female employees who appear to be victims of domestic violence. Okay, let's continue. Previously, the freelance reported a female correction officer at Marcy killed herself after being raped by a supervisor while working inside the prison. Wow. Okay. James's office originally represented the defendants in Gibson's and Ramsey's lawsuits before Brooks' killing. It withdrew from defending Kessler and 22 other defendants after Brooks was killed. Court records and 2 additional letters from James to the comptroller show. There is a big cover up of employees' unprofessional conduct and misconduct. Ramsey's handwritten legal complaint alleged in 2022 they work together to cover up criminal action that's happening. Sick. Ramsey's allegation appears prophetic, given Brooks' killing 3 years later. James's press office and lawyers for the prison workers did not immediately respond to a request for comment. If they do, their response will be added. Wow, just absolutely crazy. Okay, so there you have it. That's the article from the freelance. What I'd like to do very quickly is just go through a couple of the comments very quick and just acknowledge everyone who's here. We have B Day. I'm sorry. We have MB Stamper. I continue to wonder how the medical professionals fit into this abuse and must realize the situation. So it seems that these medical professionals are just a part of this corrupt system, the culture of corruption in the New York State Department of Corrections. You have these correctional officers that actually conduct this brutality, and then you have the medical staff that conduct even more brutality by covering up these cases of beatings and torture. Really horrific. And actually, on the live stream on Sunday, Sean brought up a very good point. He said, what did you see while Brooks was being murdered? You saw medical staff there watching, and you saw you saw the head nurse there writing, taking documentation down, and no one intervened to do anything. We have Chuck from Rochester, New York. Chuck, welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here. We have Donna Torres saying good morning. Good morning to you. Hopefully you have your cup of coffee like me. And Donna is watching from Jacksonville, North Carolina. Chuck, good morning. Chuck, that's the one they made bark like a dog. Who's the one they made bark like a dog? If you can type in his name, definitely that would be appreciated. Iredell says, it is normal in this system. A high school kid just got $1 million bond the other day. No video and possible self-defense. So many dirty people. I'm dealing with dirty doctors right now. Sorry to hear that. Chuck, my son said the females come to work and beat up a lot. Wow. Wow. Truly hard to hear. So everyone, I want to thank everyone for being on the chat. If you can do me a favor, if you can like the video, comment on the video, share the video, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. Oh, we have someone else coming in, Meredith Napper from Utica. Welcome, Meredith. Thank you for being here. So going back to my closing, I just want to say thank you for everyone who's been supporting the channel. We are very close to getting to 1,000 subscribers. I think we're like a few away from getting to that number. So if you can please do me a favor, share the word about the channel. YouTube is not very supportive of this type of material. They don't really push it out to a large number of people. So this truly has to be a grassroots type of thing. So if you can do me a favor, share the channel with people, share the videos. And if you have not already, please subscribe to the channel. I appreciate it. I will see everyone next time. Thank you. Take care and God bless. Bye-bye.